Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Magic with Zuby. My name is Zuby, and if you're brand new to this show, the show is all about a little one-old card game called Magic the Gathering. So on today's show, we brought on none other than Logan, aka Seraph 6, who you probably know as Magic the Gathering's community IT guy, who is known for doing a lot of Discord work for a lot of Discord communities, as well as Twitch work for a lot of other Twitch communities, and has appeared a lot of times on Olivia Gobert Hicks' stream as a commander player and just all well-known like IT guy. So brought him on and we talked a lot of IT. There is some magic in there probably towards the end, but just a lot of if IT is your thing and computer stuff, then this is gonna be the episode for you. If not, then I'm sorry. But if you're interested in hearing like geeky IT stuff, then yeah, continue on listening. Before we get into it, this show can be supported by Patreon at patreon.com/magicwithzuby. I can also be found on Twitter at magicwithzuby, on Instagram at magic__zuby, on TikTok at mtgzuby. And you can email me with any questions you may have at mtgzuby@gmail.com. And I can be found on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and Spotify, as well as YouTube if you're listening to this. And that is about it. We are also sponsored by cardsphere.com, the best place to buy, trade, and sell your Magic singles. So go ahead and sign up today and get to trading. So without further ado, let's give a big welcome to Logan. So hey everybody, it's Zuby here, and I've got Logan, aka Seraph 6, the Magic the Gathering like IT guy, the community admin for Discord, and like everyone's IT person. Can you be my IT person too? Because I'm too lazy to do it.
pretty much everybody's, yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you. This has been coming because I originally reached out to you back in I think like either late December, early January, something like that, and
Yeah,
to have you come on. The night we were supposed to record, that's when my flood happened. I remember I was in the office, like right where I'm sitting now, like getting the light all situated, set up, and then my wife screaming like there's water everywhere and just oh my god, dude, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, I remember the first time you said that was happening, and we rescheduled. And then you're like, I think I can do it this night, and then you're like, no, man, I'm sorry, I can't. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no big deal.
well, because when the second time we were trying to reschedule, it looked like the damage wasn't as bad as we thought it was.
Yeah,
and then they had to come out and get was it the homeowners inspection person, and then they had to get a water technician, whatever the hell they're called, and inspect the damage. Like we had two people inspect damage and said, yeah, like your entire kitchen, bathroom, and half your office and your whole bedroom have to go. We're like, oh fuck.
Oh god, that's terrible.
Oh dude, it's been a year. It's like we're as of this recording, we're like right at the very end of like everything. The only things we're waiting on is our new fridge, our new microwave that goes above the stove, and then they have to fix like two places where they missed on drywall, like small little corners and all that. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's like it's like basically like like almost a new house essentially. 'Cause,
Jeez.
yeah. It's been something else.
Oh yeah.
How's your 2021 been so far?
Oh, it's been optimistic, I think.
Well, that's good.
Just because the further we got in, like starting it off and with the way things were out there.
Oh yeah, especially if you're in
was
the Washington D.C. area, it's
yeah,
pretty shit.
it was a bit scary, hectic, but
Oh yeah,
once things started like rolling out, especially with vaccination and all that, it was feeling more and more optimistic. Especially when I got my shot, the first one. Tomorrow actually is 2 weeks since my second shot, so I am
nice.
As Tappy and our friend Amber have been coining it, fully marinated.
Fully marinated. I like that.
So I've been sharing that on the office too.
I like that one. I like that one. I'm getting my second shot tomorrow as of this
Nice.
recording. So
It
yeah.
was the day after for me was the second one was a little rough. I spent essentially the entire day in that recliner
Oh
with a
damn.
fever from waking to sleeping.
That's what I've heard, and it's like shit. And I have to go into the office for once and work on Saturday.
Yeah.
I got to do a firewall upgrade, and
Well,
um,
so some people were completely fine. I like my boss was completely fine after his second one. A couple friends, like just no different than any other day.
how were you on the first one after the first one?
Oh, I was perfectly fine. Like my arm was a little sore. That was it.
See,
But
I had a weird reaction. Well, I don't know about weird, but like my arm hurt like hell for like
oh
two,
yeah,
3 days, and I just felt lethargic, like just
it was.
had no energy. But I
I
had
just
the
felt
Moderna.
bruised. Okay, yeah, I did. They had Pfizer where I was at,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was just felt a little bruised and I couldn't sleep on that side. But yeah, after the second one, I could barely lift that arm, and just body aches and
Oh
I
shit.
literally just laid there and watched Netflix the entire day.
Nice.
And then Sunday I was a little tired, and then the third day I was just back at it. So
Nice. Well, awesome. Awesome.
way
So,
better than the alternative.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're up in Indiana still.
Mhm.
So, being in Florida, it's, Florida man everywhere. I mean, the pandemic has basically been over for over a year now. And,
Mhm.
so it's there's still people wearing masks and all that stuff, but you're seeing it way and way less now, even with the vaccinations rolling out. And
Yeah.
it's just, I still hate wearing the fucking mask, but I'll still wear it, like,
Yeah.
one thing I do like that this is, actually done, like even going forward when we're past this pandemic, is, it won't feel so weird like having to wear a mask if you're out
Oh yeah.
sick or anything, like with a
Yeah.
cold or something like that, or
I plan to most especially wear mine when I'm traveling on a plane or any kind of public transportation. If I'm like once conventions are a thing, wearing one maybe not like all the time in a convention center, but when I
especially
know
when
that
you're
I'm gonna
walking
be
through those crowded areas, like,
yeah,
oh damn,
like if I'm gonna
yeah,
be going through the crowds or whatnot, heck, just from the door to the table that you're gonna go sit at. That's
right,
that's good enough. You're passing how many people, how many hundreds or even thousands of people, especially like I've gone to Gen Con and those halls are packed. The convention
oh
center is
god,
packed.
yeah,
There's people everywhere, and if you're just trying to get to a destination, you might as well just wear one. We've all gotten used to it. It shouldn't be a stigma anymore to wear that out and about. And
yeah, no,
God,
it's
if you
gotten
can
easier,
avoid con cred, that's
yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
oh
Because that was a
dude,
thing since way before all this. So, you know,
yeah, 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 definitely don't miss that part of the cons.
yeah.
But yeah, man, I hope GPs start up again soon, or Magic
Mhm.
Fest, maybe next year or something like that. Dude, I was like, my wife and I were gonna go to GP Vegas last year, and
Same. It
just
was it was gonna be my first Vegas. I was gonna go to
yep,
both
mine too.
SCG cons.
Yeah,
I think there was Magic Fest Milwaukee. I was gonna go to.
yeah. There was one in
Um,
like there was one in Florida, I think Miami or
mhm.
Fort Lauderdale or something. I was gonna go to as well,
Yeah,
but
the beginning of the year, I had mapped it all out, like
yeah,
where my vacation days were going, and there were some parts where I was like, "Crap, I want to go like a day early for some of these, but there's no way that I could have enough vacation days." And then I ended the year trying to use vacation days last year, and still ended up rolling four over into this year.
oh
So
damn.
I'm like, I went from not having enough to like, how could I hold all these vacation days?
Oh, dude, I'm the same way right now. Like my boss basically, I wouldn't say like forced me to, but
Yeah.
just basically like stated, Zuby, you have to take some vacation. So I've taken 4 weeks off, not all together, And then, dude, I still have 4 weeks left.
Okay.
It's insane. Like, and I'm like, where else am I going to take that? Like Christmas or Thanksgiving? But even then, I'm still gonna. By the time that comes around, I'm still gonna have so much PTO by then.
Yep.
It's insane.
Last month, I just took a random week off just to do it. Like I was like, I haven't been off in a while. I just need some downtime to do,
Yeah.
me and not work. And
Oh
fortunately,
yeah.
this time, I got 0 work calls during that week. No texts,
Nice.
no calls. I was like, that's great.
That
It
that.
never fails, like that I get at least some kind of contact from work during a vacation.
Oh yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
It's even though I work from home and I have been for a long time now. Like even before the pandemic, it's most of the vacations, like I have the last week of May off and I'm going to be staying home, probably just playing video games every day. And I know I'm going to get a call or something or a text.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, how do I say no? Because it's like all I got to do is just move from my gaming station, which is right here, and then scoot on over. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll take 5 minutes to look at your thing.
Or yeah, even if it's like a little, just a text message or a call or something, like,
Yeah.
hey, I got a question, and people call you directly instead of like looking at your calendar or whatever. And it's like, how do I say no? Like,
Well, see, I'm of the, if it's not someone on my network team,
mm,
I ignore it. I don't care. Whatever.
yeah,
Call my boss. Get mad at me. Call my boss. Whatever. If it's someone on my network team, I feel more obligated to help them. Like I don't want to leave them high and dry and
yeah.
all that stuff because they're
I've
working on something that they
I've
need it.
started getting in the habit of when I do go on vacation, I grab my phone, and the day of, I turn off work email. I turn off the calendar so I don't get notifications. Like I made that mistake because I turned off mail, but I forgot to turn off the calendar. And when I was at BlizzCon 2019, it was like second day there. I get like the calendar invite for a new hire starting the day after I got back, and I'm like,
Oh God.
yeah, it was like a short notice. Hey, we got a new person gonna start Monday. We need a laptop for him. I'm like, nope. I'm like, they'll have it Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
So I got back in the office. I'm like, yeah. I just sent my boss a text. I'm like, hey, please let her know that I will not have a laptop for them. They're gonna wait.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm
so
taking to like signing out of all that stuff just so I don't get any of those notifications at all.
oh, it's good. It's good, and it's healthy because especially when you have a boss that supports that too, where that's even one of the more important parts.
Yeah, he when I got back after this last one, there was like a Thursday that week. He's like, we were slammed. He's like, I was on the brink of contacting you, and I was like, I can't. I gotta let you have some break. And I'm like,
No,
I
that's
appreciate
good.
that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome. So you are the Magic the Gathering IT, like the community IT person.
Apparently.
So how did you get that role?
So I guess we'll do some history. Is like
Sure.
I am a system admin by trade. I didn't always have necessarily that exact title, but the job's the same. You do all the things, whether it's servers or updates or desktop support, or it depends on the size of the company. It depends on the budget. Like my first job was in local government, so it was like there were 2 of us for 300 people, which is
Damn.
way too much. Oh, and
Oh yeah.
and they didn't think that we needed an on-hand IT because that's how old people that work in government think that
Oh,
don't know
God.
what they're talking about. So we were overworked for all that. But then going from that to there's a company in between. The company I'm at now, when I started, we were at 75 people, and we had 4 dedicated IT people plus the manager. So it was like a system admin, a network admin, sort of like a project manager, and like reporting and stuff, and a web dev, He does all our in-house coding.
Mm-hmm.
So going to a company like that where there's dedicated people, tasks are delegated out. I don't have to do everything, which is fantastic. And then we've grown and grown over the years, especially as our company's gone from being just an electric company to electric and an ISP doing fiber. Um, uh, I've taken a lot of the skills that I've learned through like system administration and all the skills I've learned from just interacting with communities and seeing what communities need. And I'm like, hey, I have these skills, I might as well offer them up. So back when I started doing this, it was roughly 2015 or so, and I was just hanging out in Twitch chat. Didn't have a whole lot going on, so it was every night I get home from work, I'd hop on Twitch and chat with people, start modding for some channels, and this was mostly in like the a little bit of like the Destiny video game community and
Yeah.
StarCraft 2.
love
Mostly ended up
StarCraft.
in StarCraft 2,
Yeah.
where like I had chatted with these guys for a while. I was a regular in their channels, and one of the first ones that really gave me the opportunity to flex my IT muscles was my buddy Nathan, Nathanius.
Oh, you
And
actually know Nathanius?
yeah, he's
Oh,
like
cool.
he's one of my best buds. So
Like, you know him in person or just was on?
yeah, met him twice.
Oh, okay, cool,
At
cool.
BlizzCon.
Awesome.
I did stuff with him and his community for years before I met him at BlizzCon in 2018. But yeah, like I've been doing stuff for him since like late 2015, early 2016 or so.
Nice.
Especially so I did a lot of his Twitch chat stuff. I started working on his Twitch bot just to make it a little bit better. And then once Discord launched, I just was like, hey, let me do this. And he's like, there you go. And he just hands me the keys to the kingdom. I made it a nice, fun place for people to hang out. As I kind of like got known in the community through his channel, other people started having me do stuff for them. So and this is over the course of several years, but so some of the names that I can toss out. We got,
Name drop some other StarCraft people.
Yeah,
I used to be into like StarCraft hardcore. Like,
we got Rotterdam.
oh damn.
We got here's a name, Artosis.
Oh shit.
So I do stuff for Dan. Dan's
Oh
a friend of mine.
shit. That's fucking awesome. I've always wanted to meet Tastosis. Like
Yeah,
they
I got
are
to hang out with them.
they are my favorite. Like out of all the esports commentary group, they are my absolute favorite. Like to me, they're the pinnacle of like esports commentary.
My first interaction with them is what was it? So I am hanging out in the Sheraton lobby at BlizzCon 2018, and there's like Dan and Nick, and I'm like, oh, it's them. And I walk up, and like Nick turns around, and he's like, hey, you want to do a shot? He hands me a shot glass. I'm like,
That's awesome.
okay, let's just do a shot with him. So, but yeah, I got like introduced to all the guys like in person finally. And they're like, oh yeah, you're Seraph, you're Logan, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's where I met Jenna Bain as well.
Oh yeah, Total's wife.
So I knew Total. I didn't know Total Biscuit like personally. We had interacted when he'd hang out in like Nathan's chat and some other places, but Jenna knew me through him and all that and around the community. So I run a Twitch bot for her channel as well, and run her Discord. So like all these people I'm naming, I run their Discords. And
do you still do it today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
So like
cool.
Jenna is streaming right now at this very moment, and my bot has announced that she's live, and logs all sorts of stuff, like moderation stuff. So
Yeah.
there's different levels I do where it just logs like maybe moderation actions and announces the channel is live, all the way to actually doing commands and advanced things like I do for most of the Magic folks. Yeah, so like and one of the big ones too is Jeff in Control Robinson.
Oh
was
God, that was so sad.
good buddy of mine. I got his little ink L pin here. I've got
That's
one of
awesome.
these on my desk. I got one on my backpack strap that's right there.
Like when news of him, when they announced news that he passed, like I'd stopped following StarCraft. You know, I pretty much stopped following like during Heart of the Swarm and all that.
Yeah.
And then when that news passed, dude, that I was sad. Like that just fucking hit me because he was one of my favorites.
Yeah. It hit us real hard. I had found out a little bit before they announced it publicly because I was friends with him, and then one of his best friends goes by Cobra Venom. Matt was my buddy. He's actually he and I share the same birthday, so we're that close. Like,
oh, cool.
But yeah, Matt had reached out, said, you know, what had happened, and God, that was hard because that whole year, I had met Jeff at BlizzCon 2018. I was looking forward to hanging out with him after helping him with his community and his Discord and everything. And then it's just all of a sudden, there was one other guy in the StarCraft community. Then like a month later, one of my hometown friends my age passed away, and then 2 months later, Jeff. And we're all like the same age. And I'm like,
that sucks.
That was like a panic attack kind of. My God, if these guys that are my age can go that fast. I started like I looked into like making sure all my ducks were in the correct rows in case of anything. But yeah, still kind of help out with there's plenty of people left from Jeff's specific community that we make sure that they got a cool place to hang out and chat and collaborate. And yeah, so from all this like StarCraft stuff, I had gotten like a good handle on what communities need, and the real answer to that, like what does this community need, is it's whatever that specific one needs. They all have kind of commonalities between them, but each one has its own personality surrounding the person or persons that are at the head of it. And so there's always like an aesthetic, there's always a different way of maybe operating, but at the core there's that same requirement for ease of information access, proper channels for communication, plenty of logging, and making sure that the correct moderation things are in place so that when there's a problem it can be handled quickly and easily. So from my experiences with that, it was about 2018. I really started getting more and more into communicating with people in the Magic community. I'd followed them for quite a while longer than that. I think I started really following people back in like 2016, 2017, as I got more into using Twitter and getting away from using Facebook, because felt more like an echo chamber there, and you didn't really have as much collaboration between people. You could reach, you could tweet at anybody and they might reply. They might, and they might not.
Exactly,
But as I got more into that, it was early 2019. I had gone through a breakup in January of that year, and I was just like, you know what? I need a hobby. I'm gonna start like getting more and more involved in Magic Online, because I like the people that I see, and I just want to watch streams and chat with people and kind of just dig into it and really experience that, because I love the game. So as I got into that stuff, I started watching Olivia, and at first she'd just stream every once in a while with like some metalworking.
Yeah, I remember
So
that.
I just go hang out in her chat and like chat with, there may be like, I don't know, anywhere from 10 to 20 people watching, and that's about it. So we were just like a little group of us chatting. And then one day I show up and she's streaming Paper Commander with it was I think her and their buddy, well, our buddy Davey and John and their friend Joe, who lives up far away. So they're like two of them sharing a webcam, and then they had two others like situated, and so they were having a great time. It was like, I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. Like, I've watched paper tournaments on stream before, but this is true interaction between friends that you get to watch. And for me, it all just started clicking into place as far as like my LGS experience, where we would go, like the LGS I was at, I grew up playing Commander in as a DZ Gaming in Decatur, Indiana, just a little town of 9,000 population or so. But it was such a healthy environment that we had. That was what everybody played there, was Commander, and people would drive in from an hour away to come play Commander.
Oh, damn. Wow.
And so like we do like maybe an F&M night for Commander, and we'd have 15 to 20 people playing only Commander for F&M. And the way that our environment there was, even if you weren't playing, there's a pod of 4 people sitting there, and you'd stand there and watch, and you'd interact with them as they're playing and stuff. And you're like, oh, hey, what's that card? And they hold it up and they show it and they tell you. And I was like, this is the same thing. There's this pod of 4 people at a table, and there's friends standing around the table in Twitch chat watching, and they're holding up cards and showing them to the camera like, oh yeah, this is what that thing is. And so after like the first or second stream of them doing that, I reached out to Olivia and I'm like, I can help you do this better. I want to help you do this better. Like there's so many things I can help you improve on this and increase this feeling of like the LGS at home and the LGS on Twitch, and make it a community type thing versus just watching for entertainment. Because you want, like, there was already the interaction, there was already the desire to watch those games and see the interactions, but so I was like, hey, can you let me do this? And so she's like, well, let's do a call and see what you got. And so I had all my things ready. I was like, all right, here's what I can do with OBS and overlays, and here's how we can improve that. And then here's my Twitch bot, and here's all the things that it can do, and here's how we can make it like we can do a card reader module so that we don't have to use the MTG bot. We can use my nice custom bot that integrates with Twitch and Discord. And here's what I can do with Discord to make it really nice for all of the people that want to watch and join your community. So like from like April, May of 2019, the next couple months, just rolling out all these features and improving things, coupled with the fact that Olivia's the name, and being on game nights, being featured on profs videos, her getting out there and making a name for herself, especially after getting announced to be on the CAG and being promoted as a cosplayer. It was just this whole marriage of awesome things coming together, and the channel numbers just started to explode from where we were with 20 to 30 people watching a Commander stream to, I mean, Tuesday night we had an average of 200 people.
That's awesome.
For the entire stream.
That's a lot of people watching Commander too. That's
so cool. Like,
yeah.
Can you imagine 204 people packed in the back room of an LGS? 4 of them are playing Commander, and the other 200 all watching.
Probably smell a little bit.
Probably so a little bit. But now we can
Yeah.
provide that kind of experience where people can hang out and watch and chat. And as we've coined it, thanks to Olivia's typo, bust chut, because she doesn't know how to use her keyboard. She often types me a message in all caps, and then it's like, oops, sorry. So bust chut now encompasses like her channel and Jeremy Knowles' channel and Chase's channel and the Commander RC and just numerous other friends that we, as the pandemic rolled in and we had this recipe for success and we were able to kind of involve other people and get things collaborating. Now there's this collective community of the best Twitch chat for Magic Commander online, and it's pretty great. So
that's awesome. Yeah, it's blown up like since last year, especially with Commander gameplay.
So thanks to, I mean, I owe this all to Olivia, just flat out. She gave me a chance. She let me spread my wings, so to speak, and because of that and my success there, she introduced me to people. Gen Con 2018, she was working at the MTG Pro Shop Ultra Pro booth with Sheldon and playing games. So it was him and her, and then there'd be like two people that had won some online contest, got to play at certain times during the day, and then in between anybody could play. So she introduced me to Sheldon, and within 30 minutes of me talking to Sheldon about some of this stuff, he hands me his card and he's like, we're gonna talk.
Dude, that's awesome.
So I got to know him at Gen Con. I got to talk to him about all of the things that rolled out over the past year that he was planning, and I was like, I can help you do all this stuff, because it was like the introduction of the CAG, the rollout of the new website with all the new philosophy documents and things, making it easier access for people to get to stuff, as well as creating and launching the Commander RC Discord. I had all that in place like months before it went live, as well as building him a new computer to stream on so that they could do Commander RC streams now that they do 2 times a week, Thursdays. Like, actually, they just went live a little bit ago, and they play on Sundays too, and they have different community members come on and guest during their games too.
That's awesome.
So just all sorts of stuff that Sheldon had envisioned to break down that illusion that there was some like ivory tower that the RC was sitting in, to make things more open and accessible for community members to come in and speak their mind and collaborate. And so through Olivia, through Sheldon, and some of the other friends, like especially Tappy, getting to be involved with all those cool people in the community, it sort of gave me the ability to be a little more forward about, hey, I can help you with this. Here's some people that say that I can. And started helping other people out, especially after I met Prof in person at Command Fest DC. Started doing stuff for him. So now I've built him a computer. I run his Discord. I helped him set up his Twitch stream and all of his equipment, but he's starting to stream again. I just kind of dabble in a bunch of people's communities now and just help out where I can. It's so much fun. It's very fulfilling to me to be able to use the skills that I have from, and not necessarily even through work, but just through experience, to share those with other people so that they can succeed.
That's awesome, man. No, it's really good. It's commendable too, because it's hearing all this, I'm glad there's people like you that, actually go out and help people and, improve upon things, right?
Yeah.
It's it's nice to hear, what so you're talking about some of the bots you've created in in Twitch and Discord and some stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like how what's some of the stuff you have made? Like how did you come up with the ideas for them?
So I don't code them myself. I use, uh, I guess, for the Twitch and Discord thing. There's a bot called Phantom Bot is what I use. And back when I was working in StarCraft stuff is when I discovered this thing. So I was trying to find like the right bot to use.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd tried, some of the usuals, like there's Nightbot, there's MooBot, there's the Streamlabs one, there's Stream
Yeah.
Elements. So there's plenty out there, or even mtgzubot does that stuff, but I wanted to find something that was kind of all encompassing and did more than just things really good here or things really good here. I wanted to be able to keep a log of all of the moderation actions that were done on Twitch, so that we had a log of like when somebody got timed out or banned. But I also wanted to, on the Discord side, be able to announce like when the channel went live or have commands there that coincided with the ones on the other. So I had stumbled upon Phantom Bot, and it's one that you got to set up from scratch. It runs you through a wizard on how to connect it to Twitch and Discord. There's guides and stuff. But there was one particular guide I found that showed me how to implement it, not just running on my desktop, which is how I originally had it set up, but to fire up a little server, little Debian Stretch 9 server in Google Cloud and run it on there. So it's running 24/7.
Oh, nice.
It was very cheap. And now my little server has, I think it's got, I don't think I gave it a second CPU core. I think it's still running on a single core, but it's got 16 gigs of RAM and maybe like it might have like a terabyte of space just for the hell of it because it's so cheap. But yeah, this thing is running 19 Twitch/Discord bots. So 19 instances of Phantom Bot for people in StarCraft and Magic and a couple other communities. It just runs, it does its thing. I go in, I do monthly maintenance to update the server or update the bots, and it only costs me $80 a month.
Oh, that's good. That's nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing. And the more that I add, it scales so nicely. So the more bots that I've added, the lower the cost has been per bot, month to month.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And so, I was just doing this out of my pocket. And then it was the end of 2019, like January 2020, when some of my good friends were like, Logan, let us pay you, give us a way to pay you. So I set up a Patreon account and created some tiers, and people signed up for that. And it covers all that, and it covers some other costs that I incur for different servers too. So it's pretty sweet that, and it's not just the people that I do stuff for, but it's people who watch those people.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You have people who are supporting me supporting people, and all of it just gets taken care of. And so I just maintain it, and it does its thing. So
Dude, that's awesome.
yeah, and this Phantom Bot's been pretty great. There's not a whole lot of development required for it. They do some bug fixes here and there, and might add a feature, change a feature, but it essentially connects to a Twitch account, and it sits in Twitch chat, and it just does its thing. Whether it's like posting timed messages or logging chat. Logging moderation actions, responding to commands. And then on the Discord side, it links to a little Discord bot you fire up, and it does the same thing there. It announces when the channel goes live. It announces when other things happen. It responds to commands, it logs those actions there, and it's pretty basic as far as that goes. I haven't found any other bot that does all of those things all in one go, and the fact that I can have it out in a cloud compute environment where I don't have to worry about my computer rebooting or my internet going down, my power going out. I don't have to worry about
Yeah, you're
trying
not
to
hosting
manage
anything on prem or anything like that.
right.
Yeah.
Or even if somebody had it like on their stream PC and they turn it off for the night, and then now it's not running in the
Yeah.
Discord, or it's not running in, like some people like to be able to go to the Twitch chat after hours and type in the command to get to somebody's Patreon or somebody's like affiliate code or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was sort of I stumbled onto this thing. I joined their Discord so that I could keep up on updates and changes and bugs and things like of that nature. And it's sort of like I've got a guide I run through that I wrote up for myself. Yeah, I actually documented for myself for once.
What?
Which is not something I do in my normal work very often, but yeah, I got documentation on how to set a brand new one up and how to update it and all sorts of stuff. Documentation on all of the, because it's got a web panel that the streamers can access to manually change things. You can run giveaways through it. There's all sorts of little mini games built into it, and it's been real great. So
Dude, that's awesome.
Saved me a lot of headaches for sure.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about IT, right? So
Yeah.
we're both in IT, and I love talking with other IT people, just understanding like their skills, their passions in it. We talked a little bit before we started recording. We were getting a little bit into like VMware Hyper-V and some of your, would you call it, hyper convergence? I'm not much of a systems guy anymore. I'm just all network now. So, so what is it about IT that draws you? Like, and what's some of your passions about it? Like, are you happy where you're at in terms of with IT, and is there somewhere you want to go? You know?
So I guess this all starts when I was little. My dad worked for IBM.
Oh, cool.
And it was more in like the customer support style stuff. So like corporate customers, making sure that their problems got worked on. He wasn't necessarily in a straight up IT capacity. But because he was always involved with computers and stuff from a very like the 70s when he was in college, and dealing with like punch cards and stuff to do because he was a math major, and it was I was born in 85, and right around that same time is when our good friend Commodore 64 was made. So that was my first computer, was Commodore 64.
Nice.
So from a like age of 2 or 3, I was playing on the Commodore 64. Like there's actually a good old game that I loved playing called Face Maker.
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Oh my god, it was a little horrifying cover. I think I can find this thing here. Face Maker for Commodore 64 from 1983, and it was essentially like you picked the shape of a face, and you picked eyes and a nose and a hairstyle and all sorts of goofy things, and you just made a face. That was it.
Yeah.
And then you could print it out on your dot matrix.
Oh yeah.
So we played stuff like that, or we had like the original test drive where you picked your car, and it had some very terrible audio simulations of what those cars sounded like. And the entire premise was to drive around the side of a mountain and dodge the oncoming traffic and the cars that you're trying to pass.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, here's a semi coming up, and you had to get in the other lane. So from an early age, I had access to a computer. I was fortunate enough that we had Commodore 64. We had the IBM equivalent of Windows 3.1, which was OS2.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
Yep, you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
OS2, because it was that IBM helped Microsoft develop Windows 3.1, and as part of that deal, they said, "You give us our own branded version of it," which was OS2. It was
I
literally the
forgot
same
about
OS,
that. Yeah.
different name. So we had an IBM, it was a PS2, and it ran OS2. Well, the upgraded version, OS2 Warp, which included a bunch of video game packages and stuff. And that thing was we had a 14.4K modem on it. We had a
blazing fast.
and we had one of those. We had a CD-ROM. It was one of those ones that you put the disc in the cartridge.
Yeah.
And then you slotted the cartridge in for the disc to spin. Yeah.
Oh God.
So we had those. We lived 4 miles from town, so I didn't have any neighbor kids to hang out with. I just had my brothers, and so if I wasn't playing with my brothers or hanging out in our woods, I was on the computer. So got used to tinkering around with our computers as I got older. I remember when we upgraded our Pentium 1 to a Pentium 2.
Ooh, the slot one, the slot CPU.
Had that daughter board CPU block. Yeah, so you just literally all you had to do was like unsnap it, pull it out, and pop the new one in. That was it. Gosh, if CPUs were that easy to swap out right now.
Jeez.
But
yeah, why didn't they ever keep up with that design? I liked it. It was so easy.
I assume it had something to do with like the heat sink and all that, but whatever. Give me my old daughter board back.
Let the smart people figure out the heat issue. Like I'm not that smart. Let them.
So yeah, just like over the years of like when I remember when we had our second PC after that, like Windows style was ran Windows 98. And we got a Voodoo 2 graphics card.
Whoa, you were like top of the line.
And I remember
back then. I remember the Voodoo cards.
Even going from the Windows 95 machine to the 98, how much faster StarCraft loaded. Like StarCraft Brood War.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
It used to take like a minute or more, and then it went down. It was like 30 seconds. And I was like, 30 seconds? That's awesome. It loaded so much faster. And now it's like you launch it and it's like StarCraft. And then it's open. It's at the menu.
Yeah.
But like we got that, and I was able to do like accelerated graphics for different games. Especially one of my favorites in early high school was Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2.
Oh God, yes.
This was such a pivotal game.
That's the one that had the live action scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Kyle Katarn.
Had actual lightsaber fighting.
Yeah.
It was such a great game. I loved it so much that I learned how to mod it. And I joined online gaming communities. That was my first experience with online gaming communities, was back in like the early 2000s modding, and I was part of a modding guild called Badass Hackers. So
oh man, that's great.
But the best part was that Jedi Knight was very basic. It had container files, and if you open up the container file, it had all of the files that you needed that ran the game. You could extract all them, and you could just dump them out in the directory. And any of them that were in the directory overrode any that were in the container files.
Oh, okay.
And as long as you kept the same number of parentheses and objects, there was like a definition for what determined what was an object. In that file, it maintained the checksum when you went to play multiplayer. So you could literally just hack the game by text editing things.
Wow. Dude, those were simpler days back then, man.
And the text in those files was a variant. It was like a custom version of C. So Jedi Knight taught me how to code C. It was my first coding experience.
That's awesome.
Between that And between making custom like use map settings maps in StarCraft Brood War, which taught me logic and like order of operations as far as coding goes. So that and coding in Jedi Knight was sort of this opening a whole new world of things that I could do as far as like a skill set. So like I got the hardware from just my dad having cool computers and learning how to do that stuff. I had this experience with coding and logic and stuff. And so when I took a bunch of science courses in high school and all that, and I went to college, I was like, man, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a degree in chemistry.
Sounds about right. I can see the reaction or the relation.
The first week I was there at college, this is a terrible idea. I'm going to switch to computer science. So completely changed majors in the first week to computer science. And it was like, okay, this is all coding and this is all theory. Then I realized I didn't want to do coding and theory for the rest of my life. That was not fun for me. I liked the applied skill stuff as far as like hands-on things went.
Yeah.
So after a year and a half, I changed schools. I went into computer engineering technology, which is less of the thermodynamics style engineering and more of the here's what we have, what can we do with it kind of engineering. I got some hands-on with like electrical engineering kind of stuff where we designed boards in a like circuit boards in a editor and sent them off to get printed off on the CNC mill and solder everything on. So I was
about to say you got to solder some actual circuit boards. Yeah. That sounds cool.
And
sounds fun.
I had already gotten experience doing that, like in college, modding Xboxes for people.
Oh, the original ones. I remember that. Yeah,
I had a pretty sweet one that I built that was decked out with it was that limited edition green Halo one.
Okay.
And I took the inside lid out so that you could see all the components inside. I decked that thing out with like green LEDs.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
The whole thing, there's like a toggle switch on the back that would flip on and light everything up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I even built in a relay switch for the USB so it would disable one of the controller ports and flip the relay, the 4 pins over to a built-in, it was like the remote control.
Okay.
For like media, like you put a DVD in one. So like when you flip that relay, it would turn the LEDs off and it would turn on the little IR sensor for the remote so that you could watch your movies in the dark.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, experience with like, hands-on soldering, actual hands-on, like that's where we used virtual PC and VMware for the first time. And so I kind of got some of these skills, but the more and more I was in school, I realized that I'm doing this for the paper so that I can get a job. These are all applied skills that I kind of already had. I did an internship where it started out as like more of an engineering role for the first semester. And then I noticed that they needed some IT help. And so I went to HR and the rep there, and I was like, hey, I can help this guy out. He's swamped. I know how to do all this stuff. And so the rest of my college internship and until I graduated was doing internship IT stuff. And it was all like desktop support and, doing stuff with VMware and doing stuff with servers and answering tickets. It is all the same stuff I do now. Just it was at an intro level.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with it. I was doing that in college, and after I graduated, I'm like, I want to be an IT guy. I want to be a sysadmin. This is the fun stuff for me. It's easy for me. And I know that it's not easy for other people, so why don't I just do it? Because I can do it well, and then I don't have to worry about somebody breaking something because I take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a whole world out there where you see folks get into, and it's not just IT. You see people get into a career path and maybe they're not necessarily geared for it, and they can do it. They just don't necessarily do it well.
Oh, I've seen that plenty in IT. I've had to, because I used to be an IT manager, and I've had it was IT manager of a help desk. Never again will I ever be a manager of a help desk ever again. It was
and there's nothing wrong with somebody trying to get into a career and try and make it work for them. But if
oh yeah,
if it's not necessarily like the best path for them, they might need to look at something else. Like there are people who were in my hometown community that were they ran computer shops. And all I ever heard from people were complaints about how these people mess things up. So I'm like, let me do it. So I'd get paid like beer and fun money on the side to go to somebody's house and install their printer or update some software, or reinstall Windows, or set up a new computer for them and migrate their stuff over. Because they're like, I took this computer to so and so, and it's just never been the same since. And that's always what I heard. And so I just made a whole thing out of like helping people around my hometown doing side IT jobs. And that's kind of what rolled into this community admin stuff. I'm like, this isn't my job. I don't, I do get paid now for it, but it's not my job. I want to do this stuff because it's fun and it helps people out. And I do get some kickbacks on the side. I mean, like, people know my name now, which is pretty sweet. So I think that's pretty cool to be able to give back to a community and then, get some recognition out of it for what I'm doing.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. So what you're doing today, you sound like you're pretty happy where you're at. Is there any sort of path or what's the word for it? Any sort of path or like any kind of focus in IT that you wish you could just focus on? Because it almost sounds like, just from what you're describing a little bit, you're sort of like a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Right now, is there like, just if you could just have just one thing to focus on in IT, what would that be?
It would be just focus on my server environment and start to cut out the desktop support. No matter where you're at, you're always going to do some of it. So like, even if you're like a tier 3 sysadmin and all you do is babysit servers and plan projects and upgrade things, and that's your world is babysitting all this stuff, you're still going to do some desktop support. Somebody's going to pass you in the hallway and say, hey, this thing's not working. And you're going to be like, I could tell them to submit a help desk ticket and so that handles.
And that's what you should do.
But you always end up doing it. You always end up going to that person's desk and just tick, 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 and done in 3 seconds, and then walk away. And maybe submit the ticket later so it's kept track of.
Yeah.
But I even now, our CEO, he doesn't use help desk. He walks in.
Of course, yeah. That's how most executives
he sends me an email. He sends me a text message. He wants to ask me directly. He doesn't want to use the ticket system. So
of course not.
There's people in the leadership that are always going to get that treatment.
Of course, yeah.
Versus anyone else.
Dude, try being in healthcare and being a being a doctor. It's not only you have to worry about executive leadership; it's doctors too. It's same thing, but a little bit more prima donnas.
And I think that there is a path for me where I'm at now, as our company is consistently growing. Since January, we have had 7 new hires, which has been
in IT or just
in the company.
In the company. Okay.
Which is like 7% for us. Like, because we're around 100 people, we added 7 people. That's 7%.
Yeah.
So, like, the big struggle for me right now is with all the computer and chip shortages out in the world.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's affecting me big time right now.
I needed 30 computers for this year to cover all of my annual replacements and my new hires. I've gotten 15 so far. And that was luck because we got in early on some of them before they got back ordered.
Yeah.
So like I got some in early from one company, I got some back ordered from another, and back ordered from another, and I managed to get in 15 so far. I just put in another back order for 10 from another company to cover like because most of them have gone to all these new hires. Like they have to have a computer. I don't have one on hand. The brand new ones that come in go straight to those people, and the people that have had their computers for 3-4 years that need them replaced, they had to wait. So I'm finally just now in May finishing up my Q1 replacements.
I did. I'm facing the same exact stuff with network equipment. I've had
Network,
to. I've ordered, and it's mainly switches, not firewalls. For whatever reason, firewalls are coming in quicker, but switches like Cisco switches, and it depends on the size too. Like if I order an 8 or 12 port switch, boom, get it next week. Anything 24 or higher, I'm having to wait. Like I just placed an order for some switches back in April, and they're saying they're not going to ship till like July, August. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I've got to go live like next month. I need this now.
Our service provider and consulting team is having that same problem because we do not only like we got our electric side, we got our ISP side, and then we also have like some corporate accounts that we do for networking internally and things like I'm here in Lafayette, Indiana, and we handle stuff for Purdue. Like that was part of the ISP side, and so we, they're our client now. We've also got some of the Indiana health networks around here too that we do things for, and so that's anywhere from like actual just internet connection to their place and letting them connect between their buildings to actually internal, like some of the residence halls on the Purdue campus. Like most of them are all managed Wi-Fi by our consulting team, and it's crazy like how hard it is to get some of those things ahead of time now.
It's
so yeah, like I think I'm with the growth that we've got in the company, I'm pretty comfortable with this so far, just because we've already got a job listing out there for another sysadmin. So there's 2 of us already. So we got one from our acquisition, and then there's me. We both kind of do a little bit different things, but there's room for like them getting in a lower level guy, and then me moving up to a higher level, where I have maybe less interaction with the help desk ticket stuff that comes in. I'm dealing with more the higher end stuff, which is pretty cool. But there was sort of a dream that I kind of had last year of like, what if I could do this tech support stuff for content creators as a full-time job?
That seemed like it'd be hard, especially monetarily.
It's a tricky situation where you have to realize that content creators don't make a lot of money, no matter where they're at.
No, they don't know.
Even the big names, like unless they're super lucky and they've struck these sponsorship deals with people, a lot of them are working a normal job and doing this stuff on the side, and it fuels hobby or it's extra income. And I understand that. Like I tried to get into streaming like every night after I got home from work to see if I could get lucky enough to make it like that. And some people can do it and others can't. The ones that can do it sometimes are just getting by. Like they have enough that they're sustaining their quality of life, and that's great. Like if you can live off of all that, that's fantastic. And sometimes that's lifestyle changes. Sometimes that's very strict budgeting to keep in line with that. But when it comes to like their tech stuff or their community, they start getting stretched thin, and that's kind of where I stepped in to try and help them out and not
Yeah.
ask for money because I was doing it for fun too. And so there are some who are able to give me some in return out of their own kindness or whatever. And sometimes it's because like they have a Patreon account and they're getting plenty in from that side that they can justify having some of that go towards me
Yeah.
to cover like even
Like a monthly
Brainstorm.
fee or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like Brainstorm Brew is one of my $25 patrons because they have a Patreon account. So they get stuff in from their patrons. A little bit of that goes to me, and then like once a month we have a little call between those three guys and me, and we'll just shoot the shit over stuff or go over things. Or even like the Commander RC.
Oh, I think I just lost your audio. Oh no.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Yep. I clicked the wrong button there.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
So anyway, the Commander RC, like I cover some things there, and they have a Patreon set up for people who want to give back to the community. So that goes towards covering like their website costs. That goes towards like covering Discord bot stuff and me, things of that nature. So there's opportunity there, but it's more or less like I would have to have volume of people versus a handful of people.
Yeah, you definitely would. And I just don't think there's enough people out there to even...
It would have to bridge multiple communities. It would have to be more than just the ones that I'm in. And there's an opportunity there where it's feasible, but it would take a lot of work.
I mean, you're essentially just doing like a side IT business where like you're doing it in person, but now it's just remotely, and that's you'd have to have a large volume of customers.
Yeah. So it's
that's a tough one, man. I mean, it's commendable, like I said, but it's like,
yeah,
I've gotten to a part in my IT career where, you know, I'm a network architect by day, and a lot of what I do now is I don't do a lot of actual configuration of equipment anymore. I mean, I'll still do it, you know, like
right.
I'll still do stuff, but it's not a daily grind. Like the majority of what I do is I have to, I work in healthcare, and I work for a radiology company nationwide, and we are constantly providing our services to new hospitals for radiologists. And so we have to input our new system there, and I have to go to these hospitals and design the network that to be able to fit our system. A lot of times it's easy, like it's going to be some simple stuff, but there's always going to be some hospitals where I have to design something crazy and to get it all working. So it's I really enjoy that, but then I'm sort of like the car mechanic, you know, where I have a really crappy car. Like you look at my network here, I'm just like some crappy little Nighthawk. I'm like, I don't care. I used to be so into that, where like I used to have like servers and switches and all that stuff. I'm just like, I don't care anymore. Just it's like I've been there, done all that. Just
I've got my nice computer. I love it.
I've got a really nice computer and like widescreen monitor and all that stuff. Like I love that. But as far as like how I have some people on our network team, and they've got like, you know, the rack at home and like in their garage or like some closet with like switches racked in there. I'm like, why? Oh, well, I want to lab stuff. I'm like,
I get friends that talk about their home lab.
I get it.
And it's like cool. Like if you want to do a home lab, or if you want to have like what's that one? There's like a video hosting server you can get.
Plex.
Plex.
Oh yeah, I mean I've got my own Plex and all that.
Yeah.
It's not a server; it's an external drive. But
I've got friends that have like the full blown like Plex server, like
racked
up and like enterprise Wi-Fi in their house. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I don't need any of that.
Yep. My buddy took one of our old VMware hosts and made it a Plex server, and I'm all like,
Mm,
damn. I mean, really really fast, but it's
yeah,
like that's kind of overkill too, just for streaming. But hey,
right.
it's really what people are up to. It's like when I was younger, like working my way up in the IT chain, I used to be like really obsessed with all that stuff where like
Mm-hmm.
I studied for my certs, A plus, Net plus, CCNA, CCNP, and all that, and
Mm-hmm.
just really obsessed, like every night cracking the books and having the home labs and all that stuff. Now I just don't care. But now my boss told me this year, oh, well, you got to go for a certification this year. Like we're paying for it. I'm like, oh shit, I haven't studied for a
Great.
cert in like 5 years, and I'm all like, fuck.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and I'm like the worst test taker too. Like I get
yeah.
so fucking nervous. So the cert I have to go for, the CCNP data center, and it's
Mm-hmm.
such a new cert that they only it's like most Cisco exams. You have a core exam and then like the other branch you got to do. So this
Right.
CCNP data center that I'm deciding to take is they only have core exam books. So like for like the branch exams, they have no books, no material out for it yet.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm like, because because my boss was like, well, why don't you go for the CCNP, the new the routing and switching again? I'm like, I already did that. I have no interest in doing that again.
Mm-hmm.
Like doing the new one, right? I'm like, and besides, I'll be honest, it's learning exactly how spanning tree works at a packet based level.
Yeah.
How is that going to help me, right? Like,
There's some weirdness to it for me where I look at some of these certifications and I look at what the material encompasses and I'm like, I already know this. Like,
but do you know it the way they want you to know it?
right. Well, like, I already
That
know how to
always
do
annoyed
this.
me the hell
Like
out of me.
I took some VMware courses and so like there was this one that I took, it was at my first job, and I had never taken any VMware class at all, ever.
Hmm.
And so my boss was like, "Yeah, you should take this. It's not like a full-blown certification, but it's like some kind of certificate that
Yeah.
says you did the class." Well, there wasn't a test or anything, so it wasn't even like
You pretty much
any
just
kind of
show
like
up
weighted thing.
and yeah.
Yeah. And so um I go to this thing, it's 5 days, and so I have to commute up and sit through the class all day. Day one, literally all stuff that I know. Day two, same thing. Three, same thing. Day four, halfway through the day, I learned one new thing. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then I realized, oh, this is for the license tier above the one that we have.
Oh, like enterprise version or
Yeah,
something.
it
Yeah.
was the distributed networking in VMware, which
Oh
is
yeah.
like Enterprise Plus, and we had Enterprise.
God. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, cool, I learned this new thing, except we can't use it.
Yeah.
And then day five, we did some labs, and I finished mine like 30, 40 minutes ahead of everybody else. So I just kind of sat there on my phone. The guy's like, oh, did you do the lab? And I'm like, yeah, I've done this before. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I got my paper and I
Yeah.
walked out. So there's times like that. Like if you're actually like you want the certificate and you got that you can put the letters behind your name. That's all cool too. Like
Yeah.
power to people that want to do that and
Like
or need to do that.
I really enjoyed learning like the CCNA and CCNP. Like I really enjoyed
Yeah.
learning the nitty gritty of it because I'm like that's just I really enjoy learning that stuff. But on the other hand, a lot of that information and knowledge doesn't really help me progress in my career.
Right.
Like cool, I know how a packet works, and how it flows from switch to switch. Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be important because there are times where you have to do troubleshooting on a packet
Mm-hmm.
level like that. But 90% of the time, I'm like, I don't, it's usually, the ISP's problem or DNS is the issue or,
Right.
something like that. But it's really good base level knowledge for it, and
Yeah.
and that's the way I look at it. Like, I'm excited to start studying the CCNP data center,
Hmm.
because when it comes to designing data center networks, I know nothing.
Oh yeah.
I can do like
Like,
basic designs and all that stuff, but like we're talking like huge data centers, right? Like, not.
oh yeah. Even the guys that are at our company who are, it's a combination between the guys that are in networking and the engineers, because they're the ones who are uh, mapping out and staking all of the fiber that's going to go up on our electrical infrastructure,
Hmm.
and where it's going to pass through each county, because each county has its own rules, permits,
Yeah,
even from the state
that is
across,
stuff. That's
like,
crazy stuff.
or
Yeah.
spots where we have to go underground to get under a thing, to like, maybe we can't go overhead over a highway and we have to go underground. um all of that stuff is handled by engineering team, and then once it's networked and passed out, then like at each hop out in the field, the little
Yeah.
huts, then it comes down to the SP guys and them getting things connected to the right spots after it's all
Hmm.
terminated, like patching it over.
God, I wonder what
And
their BGP tables look like.
uh we use stuff from a company called Calyx.
Calyx?
And
Okay.
yeah, they do like the high end ISP level fiber switching.
Oh,
And
nice.
uh
Yeah, I know
it's like,
nothing about ISPs. I've been in healthcare like pretty much my entire
it's
career. It's
it's a whole different thing, man.
Oh, I
It's
bet.
so crazy. Like especially when it comes to fiber, because essentially, like, um you run your network connectivity to this device,
Hmm.
and it has so many ports on it, and each one can feed up to like so much up and so much down.
Yep.
And usually it favors like the down over the up, but it's the thing, just like any normal switch, that determines like, this port is pulling more, so it gets more leeway,
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
switch than anything else. And then when it stops peaking, then there's more room for the others. So even if we're providing, we provide gig, 500 and 250 symmetrical,
Hmm.
uh, just out to any customers. Those are the three tiers we offer. So if somebody's got gig, another person's got gig, so like it's over provisioned, because this thing can only do like 4 or 5 gig
Yeah.
total at one given point, but nobody's going to be using the full gig.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But you need
So
that.
like,
You need that for
this
all
one
your
peaks and
Netflixing.
this one peaks. But yeah, like it's pretty cool how all of that stuff works, but it's a completely different, like, because you're not just talking about use cases with, oh, servers peaking at this time or
Hmm.
users peaking at this time. It's people out living their lives and doing normal daily stuff, and you got to like maintain that for everyone, or even companies that are using this too. So
Yeah, I guess I never thought, like, as an engineer you'd have to think about the actual route of the fiber, because it's funny, because when I think about cabling, and just in my world, it's like, is it over 400 feet? Okay, it is. All
yeah,
right, we got to use fiber.
yeah,
That's about it.
yeah. This it's crazy. Like, I look at our fiber map, and man, we have miles and miles and miles, and it pales in comparison to the electrical we've got up, because
Oh
that
God,
goes,
yeah.
man. I mean, I want to. I can't remember how much mileage we've got, but I know it's over 100
Yeah.
miles of electrical out there. We serve 28,000 members in our
Wow.
electric side, and the
Wow.
goal is to be able to serve all 28,000 with fiber. And this is out in this is the initiative that a lot of rural electric co-ops are doing, is getting that last mile service to people that can't get anything but dial up,
Yeah.
point to point, satellite, 4G, or they
Hmm.
they can't get 5G, but 3G or 4G.
No,
um,
no, yeah.
Because we have people that work at our company that don't have internet at their house because they can't get anything.
That's crazy.
Other than like satellite. Like our HR lady for the longest time had satellite, and it wasn't good enough to even run our VPN over it.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine that.
Another guy, he was in our marketing team, marketing communications, and he didn't have a dedicated internet at home. They all used their cell phones and hotspots because that's all they could get until they were on our stuff, and we were building out in that area, and we got them connected. It was like a mile jog this way to get them connected, and now he's got fiber. So it's pretty crazy, like how many people in the rural United States don't have broadband internet by definition.
Yeah.
So
no, it's yeah. I mean, I don't even know, like, how do you even get that working? I mean, I know there's what Biden's infrastructure plan that he wants to try to pass, and
some of those grants go towards companies like ours that will start to work on that last leg, last mile, they call it, connecting people, getting people good internet. But then there's other places where there's already like a stranglehold on contracts, and the for-profit companies don't want to build out into those areas that they control because it's not profitable. Even if they're getting a grant, they'd rather just upgrade their existing infrastructure and not spend it on last mile. It's pretty sad.
Dude,
but
I know we face this same thing here, and well, actually, the past couple of years it's gotten better in terms of the internet infrastructure.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Hold on one second.
Sure.
All right. Sorry about that. So, all right. So we've had a lot of IT talk here.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of IT, but I figured it was going to be something like this anyway. Get two IT guys in a room. And so I've got some questions for you.
Okay.
And this is something a little bit new I'm doing in the podcast here. Because I never typically ask just list of questions and all that stuff, but I figured I want to see people's reactions to it, if they like it, get sure. Some answers and all that stuff. So all right, you ready?
Yeah, put me on the spot.
All right. What's the scariest animal?
Scariest animal? Gosh, I don't even know. I'm not really scared of things like that.
Well, I mean, think about it. If you're alone in the woods, what animal would you not want to see, or something like that?
So here's one. I hate spider webs. I don't mind spiders. I hate spider webs because I know that if I walk into a spider web, the spider might be on me. And I don't want the spider on me. I want the spider to be there. I want the spider to be there. I want the spider to be over there. I don't want the spider here or here, or,
crawling all over you.
But okay, I think I know the answer.
Okay.
I hate spider webs, but I like spiders. So they don't scare me. Ticks scare the crap out of me.
Ooh, yeah, Lyme disease.
Because I had a buddy that I went to high school with. His two brothers and his mom all had Lyme disease.
That's crazy.
All four of them, and they had to go to specialized hospitals to take care of it, and it was all because of what they think was they never found the absolute source of it, but all they could gather was they had a pond, and they would always have geese around that pond, and the geese can carry ticks and Lyme disease, and they think that somehow those ticks got on them.
Oh god.
How it was all four of them, nobody knows. But yeah, they dealt with it for a long time, and it all got taken care of. It got handled, but God, ticks scare the ever living crap out of me. I went on
that is a worthy animal to be scared of.
went on a hike like 3 years ago with a girlfriend at the time, and like went there, went on the hike. Who knows where one got on me? But by the time I got back here, there was one crawling on my leg, and I flipped out.
Oh, damn.
I flipped
Oh, I
out.
don't blame you. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. All right. What's the best sandwich?
Pastrami.
Pastrami sandwich? Ooh, those
So-
are good. Those are really good.
As there was some discourse on deli sandwiches on Twitter,
I remember that a couple
but
weeks
a
ago.
couple months, yeah,
Or a couple months, however long.
people are discussing like sandwiches, but which is the best sandwich, and yeah, I love pulled pork, and or there's all sorts of things. Pastrami is the apex deli meat.
It is really good.
It is the deli meat to end all deli meats, and it is my favorite. It's always, when it's done well, it's always good.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a place here just around the corner. They make their own pastrami, and they brine that sucker for 30 days.
30 days?
30
Oh,
days.
damn. That sounds good.
So it's a delicacy when they have it. They have it maybe like one weekend a month. And
Oh, does it sell out
is
like crazy?
so fast. Yeah. It is so good. I
Oh,
love
man.
pastrami so much.
That sounds good. Oof. All right. What is your least favorite smell?
Least favorite smell. Yeah, that's got to go to vomit.
Vomit, yeah.
Yeah. So here's another little tangent. Back in high school, I used to had a little job on the side. I was the lawn mowing boy at the city wastewater treatment plant, aka the shit house.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah, they do
So-
not smell nice.
it was summertime.
Ooh.
There's the drying bed where all the waste is after it's been
Ooh,
removed
yeah.
from the sewage, and it has an odor, and I smelled that all the time. I've been around that. I've been around skunk. I've been around all sorts of nasty smells, and nothing turns me off more than the smell of that vomit smell.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Holy shit. How long did you survive that job? The
I did
whole
that
summer?
job 3 years, 3 summers.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Including the summer where it was summer 2003, July, we had a huge flood, and that place is not too far from the river.
Oh, God. Oh,
So-
damn.
The majority of the yard flooded, and a lot of that all floated out and was in various areas of the yard where I had to mow. And so, like, it had to be sanitarily cleaned up before I could mow, so I didn't mow over it.
Oh, dude.
But there was a solid month that I couldn't mow because there was still standing water from that flood.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, so on the flip side of that, what's your favorite smell?
Favorite smell. I really like. I kind of gravitate between a couple things. So like when I go to the store and I buy like maybe like a little air freshener cartridge, I really love apple cinnamon.
It's a good smell. It's a good smell.
So I get that pretty often, or some kind of vanilla kind of smell. Yeah.
Okay. You get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it? Just one song, and that's it.
So can I answer it like legitimately and jokingly?
Sure.
All right. So jokingly, I get knocked down, but I get up again.
God.
Drive myself crazy for the rest of my life, and that's gonna set me off. Anyway, I kind of want to say, oh, that is a tough one. That is a really tough one.
Could be any song.
Huh. I'd probably have to go with like it has to be one of my favorite bands. So it's either be like Foo Fighters or Tool or Nine Inch Nails or Depeche Mode or something like that.
Okay.
I really don't know.
So you can't pick one, but you probably narrow it down to at least one band then.
Yeah, I could easily narrow it down to a one of my favorite bands. or
Yeah.
maybe Radiohead. Radiohead would be nice and
Yeah, it's hard picking just one song because like the choice that I probably make is probably some classical piece that's like, an hour long. So I
yeah,
don't so you don't hear the same thing over and over again, you
yeah.
know? Cuz at least
I
you could explore different parts of it.
I could maybe say Weird Fishes by Radiohead. That's a nice,
Okay.
pleasant song, and it's not over the top. It's not boring. It's just nice and it's a good song.
Okay. All right,
Got a good pace to it.
our next one. What is one thing you own that you should really throw out?
That's an easy one. So on the shelf behind me, about yay, that little white thing right here.
What is that little white thing?
That is a little old medicine bottle that contains my baby teeth.
Okay. Usually the parents have that. Why do you have it?
It was at my parents' house, and when I bought my house and moved out, I just took it with me. I was
Okay.
That's a fun little thing. So there's that, and there's another little thing right next to it that has.
So your baby teeth.
So I got my baby teeth still for some reason. I don't know. I just throw it away. But there's also a nickel that I swallowed and passed.
That you still have?
Yeah.
Like how old were you when that happened?
Oh, like maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
So 30 years ago.
That seems more interesting than the baby teeth.
Yeah, okay.
like yeah, this came out of my butt.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty.
I like
It looks
that.
real cool too, because it
Oh,
gets
God,
like
that's funny.
all etched and everything from. Yeah.
It's an etched foil.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. What's something people seem to misunderstand about you? Oh shit.
Oh, good question. I I think so. This is a real talk kind of thing. I think people see my personality on, say, stream or Twitter or something, or even like now in this conversation, and they think that I might be more confident than I am. And there's times where I feel confident, or maybe I can express myself, especially even at like work.
Mhm.
But I am more or less, like many other people in the world, a face of mental health struggles. So I deal with a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. I'm especially like right now going through a lot of stuff, and it's heavy, it's hard, it's tough, it weighs on you like no other. And I think a lot of people relate with that. They put on their face as best as they can. And I think that a lot of folks see my personality that comes out on a stream, and that's not me faking anything, but it's definitely me putting forward a I'm not struggling kind of persona.
No, I know what you
So
mean. Yeah.
I think that's one thing that people misunderstand a lot, is that they don't necessarily know that I'm going through something or struggling with things. And
that's okay. It's okay to feel that way. It's dude, it's just the other day we had a network go live, and I was pretty confident that we were going to get it done, because on the surface seemed easy, right? But we failed at that, and since I was in charge of that, like, dude, it was a big ego blow, and so like the rest of the day I was just down and out. And and just I couldn't even bring myself up or anything. So, and I feel like it's important to acknowledge that
oh, absolutely.
it's like this. So when I do these interviews, similar, it's like I have to prepare myself for it. Like it's become a lot easier over the years doing this. I've been doing this 5 years now, but it's still same thing. Like I joke all the time to my boss, like, I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And you're trusting me with like all these networks. And he's like, ha ha, you're joking, Zuby. I'm like, ha, yeah, baby, I kind of am. No, I'm not. I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I think that's been a good thing with my current supervisor. He's been with us for a year and a handful of months now. he's been real down to earth with me about things, and I've been able to be real upfront and honest with him about things, and keeping him in the loop about what I'm struggling with outside of work on a personal
That's
level.
good. That's really good.
And he's been very understanding about that stuff, and it's been pretty awesome to know that, like, because I some of the jobs I worked at, I dealt with some pretty terrible management.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we could probably get into some stories here, but I know
even
exactly
my
what you
last
mean.
one. Yeah, like just emotionally abusive kind of stuff from management, and
Yep.
like this, he understands, and he knows that I struggle with that kind of stuff, and there's still sort of like some trauma from dealing with those people, and he's like, I don't want you to feel like that. He's like, I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel like you're okay. I want you to let me know if you're stressed out, and let me know what I can do to help you.
Oh, dude, I know
So
exactly what you mean because like anytime, so like I have my manager and then we have a director, then a VP above them, because we have like a really large IT organization. We have like 400 people in our IT department, right?
yeah,
And we've got like separated by teams and sections and all that. So just the network team alone has like, I want to say between 20 to 30 people and all that stuff. So there's my manager and then the director, and it's like, dude, even though like my manager and director are like some of the coolest people ever, like probably some of the best people I've ever worked with or worked under, it's like, and whenever my director needs something, like calls me up or something, I still get that apprehensiveness, like, fuck, what did I do? You know,
yep,
like, what did I fuck up? And
right.
I'm even though if I didn't do anything, you know, you're still
Oh
like
yeah.
shit, you know, because
The first 6 months I was at this job, anytime that my boss walked in, who is now my boss's boss, they kind of inserted the supervisor in between. Anytime that he would walk into our office, my shoulders would do this, just like they'd clench up, because my previous boss, the guy before this, that caused me so much mental trauma, was this guy who would stand over your shoulder. He would have a contractor that he hired for like $200 an hour come and sit next to me to babysit me while I did my job,
oh
when it was
damn,
some larger task,
fuck
because this is
that.
the guy that he used all the time before I started there, and he was hiring me to replace him, like both the contractor and my boss, because this guy was 68 years old, and uh, just a terrible person. He'd call me into private meetings and he'd insult coworkers behind their backs, drop the N word twice in my presence. Very terrible person. So every time that he would, and the biggest trigger is he would always clear his throat a certain way, and I could hear it through our shared wall.
Oh damn.
And anytime I hear somebody clear their throat like the way that he did, oh, it just sends shivers down my spine. Like, it's bad. Like, so like that first whole half of the year that I was working at this job, I even let my boss know. I'm like, I'm still dealing with that, because fortunately the guys at this company, they're in the same space, so they knew that guy, and my current supervisor is from a different co-op. He knows that guy. They all know this guy's an asshole. And so they're like, we understand. We know what you had to go through. We can't even imagine what we would do in that same situation. It's amazing that you even got through that for 11
Yeah,
months. So
dude. So I've got something similar. So when I started a position in this one healthcare company, I had this boss here, and he was the so I was originally hired as a help desk person. I was a network admin before we got laid off, like during that whole 2007 2008 recession and all
yeah.
that. And I had a kid coming along the way, and I'm like, I gotta get anything right. Like I can't be on
Yeah.
unemployment and all that, and my wife had to quit her job because the pregnancy was getting rough, and
Hmm.
so I took this help desk job, and like you know it's good that I took it, but dude, this boss I had, he just would control everything,
Oh yeah.
would would make like these drastic changes, not tell anyone, come in, and we'd get like doctors yelling at us and other like internal employees, and we're just like, no idea what the fuck's going on. So one of the worst ones, and this is when I just got fed up, and I'm surprised he didn't fire me on the spot or whatever, because I was just like, fuck that. He was working in Exchange and deleted some mailboxes. He didn't realize that when you delete mailbox, it all deletes the AD account as well too. And they were some very, very, very important people's AD accounts that were deleted. And so then he calls me into his office, and he's like, I really need your help, right? That's how it started. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna help you out, all right. And I'll be honest, I didn't really know anything about Active Directory, but the guy was in a bind, just like he had executives breathing down his neck. I'm like, I'm not gonna let you out to dry. Like, like, you may be an asshole, but come on, that's so I was helping him out. I was researching like how to fix it, and like an hour goes by, and I guess, you know, the top CEO or whatever was like just yelling at him. He comes out in the help desk area, starts yelling at me in front of everybody, like, how come you haven't fixed this yet? And I'm all like, oh, bro. Hell no.
Bro.
I'm like, oh, hell no. I get up, go into his office, shut the door, and I'm like, you don't need to fucking yell at me like that. Like, no. You're the one who fucked this up, not me. I'm trying to help you. All right.
Yeah.
And he just got like, you know, tail between his legs looking on, and dude, it pissed me off. But there was so much other shit too. There was a lot of racist shit, and a lot of some physical stuff too that happened. And when he left, you know, the atmosphere was immediately better. And then so this company that I was a part of, I still have to deal with them, not on like a daily basis or anything, but they got bought out by the company I work for right now.
Yeah.
And so to make things easier, this guy has now come back to this company. I don't have to interact with him or anything.
Yeah.
Like in terms of daily, but dude, when I saw him in the hallway, it was like that immediate feeling like I want to punch you in the face.
Punch him in the face.
I don't want to deal with you at all or anything. And
there are like we all have like a shared regulations committee for electric co-ops in Indiana, and so there's like twice annual section meetings where all the IT people get together and do like panels and things like that.
Yeah,
hang out and collaborate. That's how I met the people that I work with now, because I met them from going to these events when I was at the previous co-op. And so after I started going to them at this new company and I'd see him there, the first year it was like it was a little nervous, the first event. And then the second one, it was like I was rubbing it in his face. Like, look at me being successul because you're a jackass and you fired me. You know, it's all your fault for not having me around. And you know, look at all the cool things my company's doing now, and you're not doing shit.
Yeah, no, dude. Oh man.
Because the way that I ended up getting terminated from there is because he wanted. So there's a type of software called SCADA, and has to do with managing the equipment that's out at substations. It's very critical stuff. It's the stuff that like years ago in the Ukraine, it wasn't secure. It got hacked, and people were shutting down power grids all over the country. Like,
that's crazy.
It's critical stuff. Like even so, like the stuff there was like the water plants in Florida not too long ago. Their control system got hacked.
Yeah, that's right. That's
SCADA. Like it's the
data
acquisition stuff. So SCADA is a pretty important thing, and there was a project where we were upgrading our system, and I created all the servers, I set all that stuff up, I was working with the vendor to get everything going, and when it came to close to the point where we were ready to roll it out, he wanted me to make sure that the SCADA guy whose system this is didn't have access to it unless he went through IT, which is a huge no-no. Like,
Okay.
you don't, the guy
That's
who's
weird.
doing this as his job all the time, well, my boss wanted control over everything, so he had to make sure that every department went through him or us to get access to anything, no matter how little it was, or even if it was like an issue with the billing software. Instead of having the billing department call the vendor and talk to them and have them remote in and resolve it, my boss would sit on the phone for 3 to 4 hours until they got it done. And that's all he'd do every day, is sit on the phone with his legs kicked up on his desk.
It's a waste of time.
It's a waste of salary.
Yeah, that too.
So,
man.
It came to that, and I was just fed up with it. I'm like, this is wrong. So I went to the VP of engineering, who was I was close with him, and I was like, hey, it was a day that my boss was out. I made sure it was a day where he wasn't in the office, and I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you about something. We went into his office, and I just laid it out. I talked about all the things I had been dealing with that guy. I talked about all the things he was doing to control things. Mm-hmm. And he was fairly aware of a lot of this stuff. But then when I came down to the part where I told him, he wants to lock your guy out of the SCADA system and not be able to do his job unless he came through us. He's like, that's not acceptable. He went to the CEO. The CEO went to my boss. And then the very next day after that talk from the CEO, everything changed. And within, I think 2 weeks, he found some excuse to terminate me.
God, that sucks.
Yeah.
But so it sounds like it was a blessing in disguise, though.
Yeah. I felt great after leaving there, because I was like, I don't have to deal with this guy again. And when I filed for unemployment, they, checked to make sure to see if the firing was a valid reason. And they're like, they have no bearing here. They didn't have a reason. They never gave you warnings. They checked into it, and they're like, yeah, this guy's just full of it. So, like, I had no issues getting unemployment after that.
Good. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
All right. We got a few more questions here.
Sure.
What would you pick for your last meal?
Last meal? Oh, barbecue.
Just like, any barbecue?
Like just a platter of like pulled pork and ribs and maybe some barbecue chicken. Gotta have coleslaw. Gotta have barbecue baked beans, probably with a little bit of bacon and pulled pork in it. Cornbread. I love barbecue. Like,
you didn't mention the best meat. Brisket.
Oh, brisket. That's a given, man.
Yeah, but you didn't mention it. It's like I would just take like a slab of brisket. Yeah. And it's like that's all I need.
Brisket's great. Pretty much like
burnt ends and
whenever you talk about like what are the things that are like the keys to your heart, and I'm like barbecue. I don't hesitate. I'm just like barbecue. just awesome. Give me barbecue and you got it.
So we've got this this one lady, she's got a food truck. She's called Lori Q. And she makes some of the best barbecue in town and all that stuff. So freaking good. And she's like our local little celebrity in town too. And she's fucking love her. She's great. She's like this short little lady too, like barely 5 foot tall, and cooks like some mean ass barbecue. It's great.
We've got a local place here called South Street Smokehouse. It's on South Street. It's been around a long time. It's fantastic.
Sounds good.
I swing by there. I just got a pile of like they make their own like smoked sausage. They got they have pulled pork. I get sometimes I get the ribs. They got rib tips that are great too.
You're making me hungry again. Like
I love barbecue.
I made a pork loin and black beans and rice tonight, and like it was really fucking good. But shit, I'm getting hungry again. Like,
I hope you have leftovers.
Oh yeah, we got leftovers. I don't want it again. I want barbecue now.
The best part about both of my brothers getting smokers, and then I go visit them, and it's like, oh, we're making smoked salmon tonight, or oh, we're making brisket, or we're making like we're getting ribs, and I'm like, I'm coming over for dinner.
Right? All right, speaking of dinner, if you could have dinner with any three people, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Let's see. Dead or alive? So I love music, and I think it would have to be like Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails and David Bowie.
Okay.
I'm not sure who the third would be, but I don't necessarily like have anything to contribute to the conversation. I just want to listen to them talk about music. Uh, yeah, it'd probably have to be who else? Trying to at least give you a third name.
Could be another music person. You mentioned Nine Inch Nails. Why not Johnny Cash?
Yeah, Johnny Cash would be good. Yeah. There's a little bit of crossover there too. Another one would potentially be Robert Fripp from King Crimson.
Okay.
He's a very good guitar player. Not many people actually know him because he's like the silent face. It's my dad's favorite prog rock band from like the 60s and 70s, and like that was his like college. All he did was listen to King Crimson, so I got into him. I've actually seen King Crimson live 3 times.
Wow, nice.
Thanks to my dad. He's a pretty silent dude, so I know that he'd just kind of like sit back and just be listening, and then like add in some kind of thing like out of nowhere while the other two talk. I mean, it'd be pretty cool.
So, last question: what motivates you to get up in the morning?
Yeah, things motivate me to get up in the morning. Yeah.
Well, something's got to get you up in the morning.
Well, I think the thing that motivates me the most to get up in the mornings, at least in the past, 8-9 years, is my cat. So
Okay.
I had my cat Cece. She's up on the paintings there. She unfortunately I lost her last year, but
I'm sorry to hear that.
I've also got
I saw
Pippi,
another cat. Yeah.
Yeah, she's my fork queen. As she got to the
Oh, that's right, the
final
MTG cat
four
thing. Yeah.
of MTG cats. She's my little ginger princess who loves plastic forks from Chipotle. She has 7 of them now. They're scattered all over the place. Like there's one on the floor. There's a couple in her bed and some of that in that bed. But this entire interview, she's been sitting on this TV table next to me. I might be able to angle this down here. There she is.
Oh, there she is. So cute. And I'm surprised none of my cats have come. Like, I've seen them come back and forth, but usually one of them always comes and just plops down right here in front of me.
So she's been hanging out here next to me, purring and purring and purring and wanting my attention this whole time. But yeah, she's my main motivation for getting out of bed, because I know that she needs her morning routine, which is I have to get up, I have to come in here, I have to make sure that food bowl has food in it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to open this window so that she can look out during the day. And I have to make sure that there's water too, if it's low. But then I have to give her like the morning scritches and whatnot, and then say goodbye before I head out the door. So she's been especially supportive, especially through her and her big sister through the beginning of the pandemic, and then especially after I lost Cece. She's been very, very loving, and we've been bonding quite a bit since then.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, she's very, very special to me. So she's my motivation for a lot of things anymore.
Good. Good. No, so we are going on almost 2 hours here, and we have like not even touched Magic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, there's Magic, isn't there?
Something you're wearing a Magic shirt.
Yeah, I got my Bolus shirt.
Your Nicol Bolas.
I've got my Bolus box here.
Yes.
Full of. I show these off on stream all the time because it's my collection of various boluses. So I got the
Yeah,
oops,
I
there we
saw
go.
the Judge promo one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Judge promo Ravager. They're all foil if possible. There's the Sheepy Cutie Sheep Wave
Oh, yeah.
version.
Mm-hmm.
And so then some of these are proxies too. So we got
Mm-hmm.
like Dragon God, we got some ALK alters versions, we got SDC. Here's the Japanese
Oh, that's
foil.
so cool. I love it.
And I've got like the stained glass and the ones with like the Planeswalker stamp and whatnot. Got some God Pharaohs. There's
You
another
got the
ALK.
OG Legends one?
I don't have, so I need to get Legends yet. I do have, so I got the From the Vault Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And I have two from not Chronicles, Time Spiral.
Yeah.
So one is in Japanese, and the other one is
Oh,
English.
dude, that's awesome.
Proxy guy actually gifted me the it's not Japanese, it's Korean, I think. Maybe. It might be Japanese.
Well, if you show,
forget.
because I know Korean, or at least I used to know it.
Let me
I can still recognize the
turn the auto
lettering.
back here. There we go.
No, that's not Korean.
Yeah, so it must be the Japanese one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got like that. We have the Black Sheep that we don't talk about because the Deceiver is bad.
It's bad, but I like its plus, where it makes everybody discard a card. Right? Is that the one makes everyone discard?
Yeah, it's got the whatever the torment effect is.
Yeah.
Like lose 3 life unless they sack a permanent or discard a card.
Yeah.
And then I've got, of course, me talking to Nicol Bolas on the phone.
Oh, I like it.
There's a dispute amongst our Bolas gang community about who that little guy actually is, which one of us it actually is. But
You say it's
I'm
you.
always gonna say it's me.
Oh, that's awesome.
I believe our friend Hobbs has the some of the original like pre-sketches for that art in.
Oh, okay.
He got that as a gift, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, he's really into the whole artist proof thing.
Yeah,
So I never really got into that.
This box is where I keep all those, and I keep any dual face cards, whether they're modal or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing that a while back, where whenever I build a deck that needs one of these cards, I get the checklist card, or I put in some kind of proxy. Especially when the helper cards came out for Zendikar. So I've got all the modal lands, and so I can just write those. And I found, so I started doing that where I got the helper cards, and I try to promote it as much as possible because it's cost savings. You only have to buy the card once for any deck in Commander. So you get your nice blinged out version, like Essica, and it's beautiful, like with the foiling and stuff. And now you only need this one foil card, and then you can put it in as many decks as you want by using those helper cards. And you don't even have to write on the helper card. If you double sleeve, you do your perfect fit, and you use your marker on the perfect fit, and then you put that in the sleeve.
Makes sense, yeah.
You can still use the helper card later. So yeah,
It's not bad, not a bad way. Yeah, I'm too lazy to do that. I'll just buy another version of the card. But then again, I had to sell my Magic collection for the whole house insurance thing, and so now it's like I have like nothing. But now any of the cards I buy, it's like I'm super cheap in budget now. Just because I used to have such a big collection of like just everything you can imagine. Now I don't even have like Evolving Wilds, like spare Evolving Wilds.
I sold off some stuff, like some bulk and things that I didn't need anymore, and it was pretty great to get rid of stuff that I wasn't using and turn it into money that I could use for other things. And I think that's something that a lot of people need to do more often. A lot of people hold on to things. There's nothing wrong with blinging out decks. I mean, the money I got from selling that stuff pales in comparison to what I've got left in decks. Like there are decks that are more valuable than anything I got from that. But
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You make the mistake of sometimes like looking at the total value of all of your things combined, and then you're like, I could do so much more with this. Like,
Right? And what's crazy is it's like, I know I didn't spend that much money on that deck. Just seeing some of the prices of stuff. So just like example, Sliver Queen, right? Sliver Queen's almost $500 now at this point. I spent maybe little over $15 on Sliver Queen. It's like I could go sell that and buy like, I don't know,
2019, I think it was, fall 2019, there was a spur of the moment sale from Ben from SCG, where he's like, one of those get these off my desk sales, and he had 7 copies, near mint copies of the Judge promo Elish Norn and Phyrexian.
Okay.
And at the time they were going for about 180, 190. He was selling them for 160 just to get rid of them. I managed to nab one of those at 160.
How much are they worth now?
460.
Holy shit. God, it's fucking insane.
It's just things like that, or like the $35 Sarah Sanctum that I bought back in 2013 is over $300 now.
Oh, dude, yeah, don't even get me started on my playset of Gaia's Cradle that I have. I bought them like $150 a piece.
Yep.
And now they're like almost $1,000 a piece, and it's like I'm so tempted to sell them, but it's like I use them in my commander decks, but I'm also like, I know if I sell them, I'm never ever gonna get them again. Yeah, yep. Could I get some cool proxy? Yeah, it probably won't feel the same though.
Like, you know? Yeah, I don't have any dual lands. I don't have a single dual land because I didn't buy into them back when I could have, and I don't have a Gaia's Cradle. There's some that I could easily get now, like, but some I just don't get out of purpose, like, or out of principle. I don't have any.
Yeah, you don't want to spend that much money on
mana vaults.
On that kind of shit. I know exactly what you mean.
But like, yeah, even some of the ones that some just don't make sense. I have a Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger pre-release promo. I traded for, it was like $40 on release weekend or pre-release weekend, and I had some store credit, so I was like, hey, if anybody in the store pulls Ulamog, let me know. If you don't want it, I'll buy you $40 of whatever you want store credit, and you give it to me. Somebody took me up on the offer. I got it. And for the longest time, it was just right around that same price, like $40, $50. It's $240 now.
I mean, foil, it's such a. It took this long for people to realize it's a really good card.
It's played in many formats, and
yeah,
like it's
even if it gets countered, you still get to exile 2 things. So
like even like the and like I had just bought one not long ago, like a non-foil, and it was like $30, and the non-foil is up to $75.
Yeah. And I've got a play set of them because I pulled them all when Battle for Zendikar was out.
Yeah,
and yeah, I think I have them all in separate decks, but
yeah, there's crazy. Just so many of those things that have just gone up, and I think a lot of it is a combination of like the pandemic, like not having in-person play. People are just buying things out because they can.
The format exploding like crazy too.
Yeah, Commander exploding.
Yeah, it's insane.
Even like,
I feel bad for new players that want to get into this format. Like just some of the staples where, you and I, we bought them for like, $5-10 maybe, right?
Couple coffers.
God, I don't even want to know.
Needs a desperate reprint, but like I had 6 copies of it. One was the F&M foil, and I needed a couple more, and I'm like, well, guess I'm not getting any more. Because I don't want to spend... At the time that I was looking at, I needed 2 more play sets of, like, Urborg coffers. So I needed 2 of each. It was $75.25. And it was like, oh, cool. Okay, so, like, for these 2 cards, I got to drop $100. Twice.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just talked to some friends that trade for proxies, and I was like, hey, could you make me a cool looking one? I already own 6 copies. I think I can justify not running a real version.
100% agree. Yep.
And I've kind of fell into this mantra, like personal mantra. I don't care what everybody else does. If you need to proxy, do whatever the heck you want. But for me personally, it's always like, if I proxy a card, I need to have one real copy of it.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And that's just my personal way of doing things.
Yeah.
And even now, it's kind of shifting into that. It's shifting away from that I have to have a copy to I have to have a copy unless it's reserve list, and then I can just do whatever I want with it.
That's not the worst thing either.
Yeah.
Well, and there's so many of the content creators that making awesome proxies now too, and alters and all that stuff. It's like, you mentioned Sheepy Wave. She makes friggin' awesome art with it. I love it.
That's how I have a foil Smothering Tithe in my Bruna Enchantress Aura Voltron deck.
Yeah.
I've got 2 Smothering Tithes that are actual foils, and I needed another copy of Smothering Tithe, and I wanted it in foil because that's one of my oldest remaining decks. It's that and Captain Sisay. And I wanted to bling that deck out, and Megan sent me a cool proxy she made, and I was like, sweet, that's perfect. It goes in the deck, and then I have my non-foil that I can stick in a different deck.
Yep.
So
that's awesome.
Because now I need more of those, and they're all $40 a piece.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, man. Well, it's getting past 2 hours here, and I really enjoyed having you on. It was great. A lot of fun.
Hopefully, if somebody's been listening this long, they've enjoyed what we had to say. I've
got some of my diehard listeners that will listen regardless. So, and they know how it goes. Sometimes there's a lot of magic talk. Sometimes there's no magic talk. Yeah. And like when I had Hobbs on, I think we barely even touched magic. Like I was more interested in asking him about like what it's like to be a psychologist for military vets. And all that stuff. So it happens. So and I knew with you being in IT, we were going to talk more IT than anything. So
yeah.
I knew that was going to happen. So it's okay. So before we end it here, give any shout outs. Where can people find you and all that good stuff?
So yeah, on Twitter you can find me at Seraph_6. The easiest thing to do, go to links.sector6.net. And I'll link that to you so you can put it in the description or whatever.
Yeah, it'll be in the show notes.
That's my. I used to use Linktree until I realized that I pay for the Google admin console thing, and I can just fire up as many Google sites and subdomains as I want. So I'm like, I could just like not pay the $6 a month and for Linktree Pro and just make my own. So links.sector6.net has links to my Twitter, my Twitch, Instagram, Magic deck lists, my World of Warcraft characters, if you want to see those.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on World of Warcraft or really even StarCraft. It's like, shit. Yeah. Sorry, man. It's like...
That's all good.
It would be like a 4 or 5 hour podcast at that point.
Anybody that wants to can hit me up on Twitter about that stuff. But I've also got links to my Discord, Patreon... I even got like Amazon wish list. I put all that stuff on there so that when somebody's like, "Hey, thanks for helping out with this thing. What can I do to pay you?" And I'm like, "Here's my links.
Get me an RTX 3080."
Good, nice, good meme. Yep. I actually just got another 3060 on the way from EVGA's notification queue, and that's going to. I don't know if I should say exactly who.
You don't have to say.
Somebody have already built a PC for their spouse. So
okay.
Yeah. I have 4 more people in the queue after that because I can't get parts.
Oh,
I can get CPUs. I can't get GPUs.
Yeah. No, I know the feeling. I know the feeling, man.
And speaking of, I got my Newegg Shuffle check mark. You weren't selected for the new egg shuffle. Go F yourself.
Yeah. All right, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll have all the links in the show notes below. Thank you again for coming on. Really appreciate
thanks
it.
for having
It was
me.
awesome. And hope you have a good night.
Yep, you too.
Hope you all really enjoyed that episode, and thank you all for listening as usual. I do appreciate you all out there, and thank you for welcoming me back. Really appreciate it. I love that I'm back here podcasting it. It's like, this is what I really enjoy doing. It's like, I like streaming, maybe not all the time, maybe just once in a while, but podcasting, this is what I enjoy the most. So thank you all again for watching and listening, and I hope you all have a great night.